Hope you guys are doing well. So continuing on our journey in SQL, we would like run. So basically, we saw why we need to learn the order, right? Why we can't write in, or there is a reason where things have to be written because it's relational algebra, right? It determines it's a type of mathematics, right? We cannot write anything anywhere. So we saw there were clauses, right? So we saw the where clause, then we saw in, and then so we saw DDL commands as well. So we'll see a little bit more about SQL. We'll try to understand aggregation, and we'll try to we'll try to we'll try about aggregation first, and then we will load in some and we'll perform some values, right? Okay, so aggregate functions, right? As a aggregate functions is basically related to aggregate relational algebra. So what we mean is we'll be dealing with how relation aggregate how aggregate algebra works. So basically we have certain functions, for example, so aggregation will allow us to compute a value, right? So this will give us a value. So the first thing or the first command that we are going to say is count, but before applying we need to do an aggregate, right? If you don't do okay, certain functions can work with so first let's first like run an aggregate clause, sorry, an aggregate, yeah, and we are trying to group by age. So the moment we run this, okay, so we have created groups, right? So these are the three possible groups that we have because we have one group, right? And then what we can do is uh so instead of thing is I need to know the rows, right? What all. So do let's try to select everything from yeah, passengers, and then let's run this. So we have so what we can do is let's also have passenger ID here. If I do passenger ID and let's run this. A select list in a group by clause contains non-aggregated column. Yeah, so now this is issue, right? But the with the group by, so the problem what is, so why do we get this error is, let's see the execution. So once you apply that group by, right, so what is left is only group. There is no yeah, there is nothing left right now. These all are gone, so we have only a group. So either we can do a count based on that, we can apply some sort of aggregation, or maybe because that is what that is going to run first, right? So near, oh yeah, missing the parenthesis. So now we have passenger ID, right? So 22 uh So we just run a count. How many? If I run this, so okay, so this is a big data set, right? That's 1,300. So what we have done is we have made groups, and then so first I'm making this group, right? After aggregation, all we left is that we have that group, right? Group formed. So if I try to display a single row, that will not work. Let's have a diagrammatic thing. So what is happening is, so we have made a group based on age, right? So one group we have, uh, okay, let's first, yeah, let's, let's only have the, wait, and then let's just create groups. So right now we are having groups, right? So for example, we have, one group is say 22, one is, so right now everything in the output is going to be grouped. So all the parameters related to this will be in one group, related to this in one group. And now if I try displaying a single row or a single column, if we try a single column thing, it's very logical that we would get this error, right? This is going to give us an error. So this is going to be the problem, right? So once you have aggregated is, we can only perform any operation related to that aggregation. Like for example, you can count, but you can't display that group. That is a issue, right? So hence this aggregation, okay, because we haven't so aggregated to that group by, right? So this is here we forgot to add, because it is searching for that group. The moment it sees a non-aggregated thing, right, it will always look for whether there was any group being made, or whether is there any group being generated. That's logical, right? Because now only groups are existing. So if we see it that way, first the group is formed, and then everything is removed. So hence that won't work. Hence that we'll get an issue, non-aggregated function thing. And there is something called as partition by, right? It's this non-aggregated issue that is going to be an issue. The problem what is happening is, group by is working first. The grouping is happening first, right? So if by any ways we can kind of reduce or we cannot, we can stop that grouping from it. So the problem is this group, right? The problem is this grouping happening over here. So if by some mechanism we can delay this grouping, then we can achieve something, right? So so what we do is we do something called as partition over by. Now how we delete is the way the place where it is written is in the select clause. So the select in the select command, right? So the select command is the last thing that we will be running. So anything present over here is also going to be run last. So if you do that, then what we have done is basically we have delayed that uh, grouping. So it's happening at the last. So that is all we wanted to achieve, right? And that was the whole other biggest problem in group by. If you use any aggregated column or any aggregated function, that grouping is this group is the issue, right? So we just derived a mechanism to delay that grouping. This grouping is the problem. So if we can delay this in select command, right, by writing directly in that um, rank. So now then we get certain additional functions as well, right? We have rank, limit, and then there is uh, so if you want uh, so it has two additional things I forgot. If I want last, oh, we can limit. So there is something called as limit. So limit will only give us, we can limit, right? The last and this must define what the last means, right? So if you want to limit 5, so it gives us the top 5. Now, oh, then okay, so rank, what does rank do is rank gives us, rank is a window function that assigns a rank number to each row. So we get a rank number. So rank, the job of rank is basically to assign a rank number. Basically a rank number to each row. It will be ordered by something. So this is a very good method, right? Now, uh, there is something called as row number as well. So let's see, what does row number do? Now the row number clause is, it assigns a unique sequential number. Now the problem is what we have repeated. So rank, yeah. So what rank is going to do is it is going to apply uh, same rank to match. Like if there is someone who is matching for a, if there is a tie, right? So both are going to get the same rank. But what we can do, what if you further want a good way, we can do row number, right? So row number gives us uh, unique unique numbers for each value in the partition. So unique number is what I'm getting here. So even if two of them are tie, so one will get first, another will be the row wise, it will be done this way. Then we were using having clause, right? There was one more important clause that we were using, which was having, right? The having clause is basically to filter group. Uh, so now the problem is where is going to filter before the group is formed. So where will filter before group formation? Now what if you want to filter after group? We do having. So we'll use a something called as having clause here. Again, this is very you will be using this quite often, right? Quite oftenly in our classes. Uh, so the syntax of having is uh, you have having, then after having you need to have an aggregated column or something, and then at the end you are going to specify the condition. So that is another good way. uh, Joins, as we said, right? Joins is basically to join the table, right? You need to have a common column, so that is one thing is aliasing, right? What when you create an alias, so this is again, this is directly present in relational algebra. So what happens when you do aliasing? So basically we are going is the process of giving a temporary name to the column or table. It's a temporary name within the query itself. Always remember this is within the query. Once the query is over, the alias is taken out. So temporary name within. Now when you go to subqueries, there are different further classification of related, correlated. So it's just like, so this is when you will be having more complex queries to write, right? A subquery is a query inside a query. So now what is returning, uh, if I'm is returning is what is going to determine the type of query, right? uh, so broadly you can classify subqueries into 3 to 4 different categories, right? So the first category that we have is basically if it's a, what is the subquery returning? Is it, if it returning a, if it's returning a column, then we say it is a column subquery. If I'm having a row, then it becomes a row subquery. Now the next type is very interesting, right? What if I'm returning a table? Like what if a table comes out? So then that is a table. Now the most important version is correlated, right? Now it is going to depend on the outer. So correlated. So this depends on the outer query, how it is written. So this is a very important thing, right? It is going to depend on the outer, how the outer query is written. It depends on the outer query for its value. If the outer query, how it's written, is what is going to relate. Uncorrelated is again, there is no relation. So this is basically when we uh, like when we are going to write a subquery, right? That time, at that time this becomes important. Although this classification, it's just for knowledge purpose. Like when you will write queries, when we will write more and more, then we will come to know what is going to happen. uh, and then okay, and then there is something called as an extract, right? So for example, in date time, right? Now this is very peculiar in date time thing. Now what if so remember we have a for uh we have a data type called as date time. So this has both date and time, right? So what we want to extract one part of it. So you can use something called as an extract. So you can use an extract to. So what is going this is going to extract you can extract a field from a source. So this is how it is working, right? This will be always, so this is very common when you're using date time when you want time or something else. Okay. uh yeah, so I guess that is all for these extra functions. I hope you guys yeah, so the yeah, that is yeah. Oh, so I guess yeah, that is all for this session. I hope you guys liked it. Now we will be just starting clean data sets and we'll try to cover those examples. So I guess yeah, that is all for this session. I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys in next one. Till that time, we have already seen joins, right? So that shouldn't be an issue right now. So that is all for this session. I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe and uh, we'll start writing. So that's all for this session. Thanks. Bye bye.